Hey everybody, my name is Kyle Dominguez. I'm the second negative speaker, and therefore I'm here to talk about the workability and the disadvantages of the advocates' proposal. First off, I want to say that the advocates really provided very little statistical information that the 21 minimum league, the 21 law has created binge drinking. There's very little statistical evidence for that, and they provided none. So there's not really, we can't really believe them on that. Second, they claim that this law is unenforceable. But how do we know that lowering the law, that lowering the age to 18 is going to make it any less unenforceable? If we lower the age to 18, seniors in high school, and sometimes lower if they fail a couple grades, are going to have access to alcohol. And therefore, all the rest of the high school students are going to have, will be able to easily get alcohol from them because they just have better access to it. It's more available to them. It's more available to more people. This increases the number of people out there who can drink. It increases the availability of alcohol. Now, not only is there going to be alcohol at college parties, there's going to be alcohol at high school parties, which means that the high school kids can now get drunk more than they used to. And we have no idea of knowing if this is going to make it less unenforceable or more unenforceable. Likely, it's going to make it more unenforceable just because America, we're America, guys. We love to drink. You know, and that is actually shown with the advocates' information about the Prohibition 1920s. America made it completely illegal for anyone to drink. And yet, speakeasies and the mafia all jumped up and drinking soared in all those underground things. We love to drink. I don't think we're going to stop just because we lower the age to 18. You know, culture is a very hard thing to change. It resists change. As time goes on, culture has resisted change. So just by lowering the age does not mean we're going to all of a sudden, oh yeah, all the people who were heavily binge drinking are going to stop all of a sudden. Oh yeah. They're not going to be like, wait, oh, it's 18? Okay, I'm just going to have one beer now. That's not going to change. You know, a lot of binge drinking goes on in fraternities. And fraternities are steeped in tradition. So I doubt that tradition is going to change just by lowering the law. And also, according to Steve Clark, he's the director of Virginia's Tech Alcohol Abuse Prevention Center. He says, by suddenly making it legal, that's not, to me, going to suddenly change their behavior. If anything else, it's going to open up the floodgates, possibly to other people more likely to consume alcohol. It's very hard to change culture, which is what I was just addressing you guys. So it's not going to make it too much. It's not going to make it that much. It's not going to decrease the unenforceability of the law. I would also like to address the fact of the opponent's claim, the opponent's proposal to start high school classes on educating people in drinking. That's a pretty good idea. You know, it's a pretty good idea, but we don't know if these are going to be effective. It could be just like driver ed classes are. I mean, you don't remember driver ed. We kind of think, oh yeah. Don't go over 65. Don't go over 65 on the freeway. Well, I can tell you from experience, I drive on the freeway almost every day. People go more than 65. You know, we're told don't do rolling stops. We do rolling stops. We were told in that type of education class, we're told to do all sorts of things, but we really don't listen. You know, even health education with sex ed. Oh yeah, have protected sex. And yet, people have unprotected sex all the time. Mark has shown that drinking alcohol increases the likelihood of you participating in such acts as unprotected sex. Also, the fact that these classes are going to cost money. You all got the email from President Ortiz and the Chancellor of the CSUs that we are in a budget crisis. Next year, we'll probably be suffering from a $20 million budget deficit. The CSU system alone will be suffering from a $410 million budget cut. Not to mention that on Friday, Governor Schwarzenegger, and this is according to an article in the LA Times, proposed an additional $4.1 billion budget cut to state government. $680 million of that would be going to schools. We'll be cutting schools. Also, I believe it was from also from the LA Times, from Education Now, a website that is dedicated to providing educational news for the Inland Valley, report reports that the Chino Valley School District has had to close 3 schools because of these budget cuts. According to the article in the Daily Bulletin, LA Unified School District is suffering from a $130 million budget deficit that they have to cut by June 30th. Budget cuts are happening all over the place. The classes may be a great idea and they could work, but right now at this particular time we do not have the funds available to do this. I'm not going to address the disadvantages. The reason this law was put into effect was to save lives, which it has. According to the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, when the law was enacted in 1984, there was approximately 20,000 fatal crashes related to alcohol in that year. As of I believe last statistic was in 2006, it had been decreased to 14,000. The numbers decreased as you went. This law saved lives, you guys. The numbers support this. Also, according to an article in the American Journal of Public Health about a study that National Highway Traffic Association did, between 1970, and this is a quote from the article, between 1970 and 1990, the minimum legal driving age was strongly associated with suicide rates among 18 to 20-year-old youths, holding other factors constant. Basically, and that's basically, except for the only thing that changed was the minimum drinking age. They found that states with an 18-year-old drinking age had an 8% higher suicide rate than states with a 21-year-old drinking age. So not only have traffic fatalities decreased, but suicide rates have decreased. If we lower this law again, you guys, if we lower this law back to 18, there would be more fatalities both on the road and off the road. I mean, and isn't that one of the most important things, is life? So I hope I have convinced you guys a little bit about the workability and the disadvantages of the opponent's argument. Thank you, everybody. And now I hand it off to my associate, Mark, for his rebuttal.